This lesson, we're going to be doing an upsert using the lookup and data flow task. We're going to be using this table to offload our update and our insert. It's the dbo.dim customer table and testdb2. And this is our text file source. We're going to be updating the first two rows. As you can see here, the first and last name and the first row in the table is LeBron James, and the corresponding row based on matching social security number is Mike Wallace and our text file. And also the second row with social security number ending in 002, we have Frank D. But in our text file, it's Frank Jordan. So we're going to be updating that row as well. And as you can see, these last two rows aren't even in the table. So these are going to be our inserts. And I'm going to show you how to do this with the lookup and the data flow. So let's go ahead and grab our data flow. Let's open it up. We're going to go ahead and grab the source file, flat file source. Let's establish our connection. And it's in a table called, I believe, Lookup Upsert. Let's open it up and let's preview it. Okay, everything came out correct. It correctly read our file. All right, let's. Okay, everything's good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our lookup. We're going to connect it to our source. And we're selecting full cache because we want to bring in all of our data into the cache. And our connection is OLADB Connection Manager because we're connecting to a SQL Server table, the DIM customer table. And we want to redirect rows to no match output when there's no match. It's self-explanatory. And let's go into our connection. We have to establish it. Test DB2. Okay, and the only column we need in this one is social security number. So select SSN from dbo.dim customer as preview. Okay, it returned the three rows for the social security number column. Let's close it out. Let's establish our lookup criteria, which is social security number. We're looking for matches. Okay, we also want to create two columns, one being loaded by, which is going to capture the user during the loading, and also the load date, which is going to capture the date time. So let me show you how to do that, how to add those two columns. We're going to be using a derived column. There it is right there. Let's connect to our lookup. And this is going to be our, which one do we want to do first? No matches or matches? Doesn't really matter. Let's do no matches. Look up no match. And remember, our no matches, meaning that this is the social security number is not in the table. So we're going to insert that entire row from the flat file source into the table because it's not there yet. So let's go ahead and enter our derived column and configure it. So we want to do loaded by, and we're going to be using a system variable for that column. So you go here to where it says variables and parameters, and then you expand the system variables subcategory. Then you want to scroll down to where it says username. You want to grab it and put it in your expression. Then you want to go to typecast, because if you look right here, it'll have the data type be Unicode, but our destination, the same column loaded by our destination, is string. So it won't be compatible. It'll give you an error. So we want this to be a string of string data type. So we go to typecast. We want to scroll down, and we want this right here, underscore str length code page, all that good stuff. We want this function right here, and we want for our code page, we want 1252 for English, and I'd say 20, 25 for our length should be more than sufficient. And now it's string. And also the other column was date. I believe load date. That's what it was, load date. So we're going to load date, create that one. And this one is just going to be a simple get date function. And it's going to give us the same format as the destination load date. So we're good on that. Okay, we have our two columns. And now what we want to do is we want to get our OLADB destination, so we could drop those columns, not columns, those rows that weren't in the table into the table, because we didn't have a match based on social security number of the text file in the table. So that's how we know that those rows aren't in the table. So we're going to go ahead and input those rows into the table. So OLADB destination. All right, now let's connect our derived column to it. Okay. And we already have our connection manager good. So let's grab the dim customer table. Good. Let's go to our mappings. Okay, Social Security mapped over first name, last name, address, load date, loaded by. Everything went well. So this data flow path is our insert. Now, what we want now is another lookup, and I'll show you why. Okay, down this data flow path is our our matches as far as social security number. But what if the social security number is the same, but the person changed their name? Like for instance, the way that I showed you earlier, where in the table, the social security number 001, their first name is LeBron, last name James, but they changed it to Mike Wallace. And the second row, social security number ending in 002, they changed their uh, they changed their last name. They changed the last name. And the second one, yeah, they changed the last name from D to Jordan. So as as far as the social security number is concerned, we have the same social security numbers, but two people changed their names. So let's rectify that issue by updating the table. All right, we're going to still do full cache. We're bringing in all of our data. It's going to be OLEDB connection manager, and we want to redirect rows to no match output when there's no match, and that's what we're going to be dealing with, the no match output solely. All right, let's go into our connection. Okay, let's just grab the table this time. Dim customer. Okay, let's go to columns. All right, we want to match it along the terms of our social security number, our last name, our first name. We want that group to be matching. Our social security number, first name, last name, to match the social security number, last name, first name, and our table. All right, let's click OK. All right, let's make sure we have derived column so that we could add in our columns, load date and loaded by. The same thing we did with the no matches. And this is going to be lookup no match output, meaning that from here to here, from here to here, we have the same social security numbers, but from here to here, the from here and onward, the first name and the last name, those columns were in a match. Okay, and the same thing we did earlier, uh, loaded by, and we're going to still use the system variable. So variables and parameters, system variables. Let's scroll down to username, and like before, it's naturally a unique code. So we want to convert that to a string so that it is compatible with our destination. All right, let's grab that, put it here. So we're going to be using this function, dt underscore str length code page. And our code page is going to be 1252 for US English. And 25 should be more than sufficient. And now we're string. And now we're going to create the load date. I believe it's load date, not loaded. Let me just double check. Okay, it's load date. And this one is just get date function. Okay, we're golden here. And the last step for our update, we're going to need OLEDB command. And what OLEDB command, it's going to allow us to run code for each row. So each social security number, we're going to be able to run a code. All right, let's connect to this. Each code, and we're going to be able to set it to each row that, for instance, like the first name, last name, you'll see. So let's connect to testdb2. Let's go to component properties. Okay, let's write our script. All right, so update dbo dot m customer where first, excuse me, first name equals comma last name equals comma. I'm sorry. I probably had too much coffee today. Set. Okay. Set first name equals question mark, last name equals question mark, where SSN equals question mark. Basically, what we're doing is for our non-matches, we want to set the social security number that were a match, but the first names and last name didn't match. So for each instance of that, we're going to set the first name to whatever the social security number and our text file is, and whatever last name and association with the social security number from our text file. So for each row, basically, of the social security number that wasn't matched, but the first name and last name didn't match, we're just setting the first and last name to um, what it was in the corresponding first name and last name values. Okay, hopefully that made sense. That's as simply as I could break it down. Okay, all right, column mappings. Okay, our first parameter was first name. Our second parameter, last name. Lastly, social security number. Okay, and the reason I did it like that is you have to do it in order. So the first question mark was first name, last name was the second one, and social security number was the third one. So you have to do it in that order. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's. And no, I don't think we want to enable data viewer. Yeah, let's just go for the sake of it. Let's enable data viewer. Enable data viewer. Enable data viewer. Okay. Enable data viewer. Actually, let's just enable it right here. Enable it here. And enable it here. Yeah, these are probably the two most crucial because you can see where it didn't match up, where it matched up. And right here, you can see where the first and last names were in a match. So enable that if you're here. All right, let's just go ahead and run it. Okay, operations are definitely not the speediest today. Okay, let's see what we got. All right, lookup, match, output. We had 3 matches, which are the 3 rows and the table. Lookup, no match. These are going to be the 2 insertions. Derived column. All right, this was just extra. All right, all right, cool. Okay, all right. Now let's go into our table and see what we have. Execute. And as you can see, our first 2 rows, we updated the names. And these last 2 rows, I believe it's the last 2, John and Samuel. Okay, John and Samuel. These 2 we inserted. And this one was the same. The social security number was a match for our text file, and the first and last names were the same. So no change needed to be done here. Um, and we're good. We're golden. And that's how you perform an upsert using the lookup, the and also the OLADB command.